I'm going to show you the proper way to bus and set a table. First thing you're going to do is check the table for dirty dishes. If there is a customer sitting here, you would ask them, may I take your plate? And you are going to approach on the left side of the customer. And if you have to reach over them for any reason, you might want to say something like, pardon my reach, or excuse me. But if they say, no, I'm fine, you can leave the dishes there. Now we will assume that no one is sitting at the table. Customers have gotten up and they left. And this is what our table looks like. It's a dirty table. So you're going to collect all the items. And this here is our bus bin, bus tin. That's usually the name of it. Different places have different ways of collecting dirt, bad food, old food that has been used. Sometimes there might be a bin here for used liquid. So if our coffee mugs had coffee in it, we would just take our drinks, pour them out, and put them in our bus bin. We might have a little thing or a little trash holder where we can dump food into it. And so we're not putting all of our food into our bus bin, but in this case we don't have that. So we're just going to go ahead and put it in our bus bin. Again, if you have cloth napkins, you're definitely not going to throw them in the bus bin. You're going to save those and put them in whatever spot you're supposed to put them. I'm sure there's some sort of trash can or some sort of receptacle that collects all of the dirty cloth napkins. If it's a cloth napkin or if it's a paper napkin, you would just throw that in the trash. So I'm going to continue to remove all of our half-eaten food or drink. I'm going to empty them all into my bus bin. So all of my food is off the table. I'm going to remove my bus bin. I'm going to go put away my cloth napkin where it's supposed to go. I'm going to move my bin. And now I still have a dirty table with my condiments on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my condiments, and I'm just going to set them somewhere nearby, maybe on the table behind me or even on a chair. Sometimes if you can set them on a chair, you can do that. In this case, I'm just going to set them out of the picture a little bit. And then I'm going to wipe my table. In the wiping video, I used a spray to wipe the tables. In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean the tables with a wet and a dry rag. So the first thing you're going to do is you have your bucket full of water. Most of the time it will be filled with water and some sort of disinfectant that the restaurant, nursing home, or wherever we're working has. And they will teach us the proper way to fill a bucket with how much disinfectant and how much water. So we will assume that this has already been set up the appropriate way. So you're going to wring your rag out really good so you don't have a dripping rag or puddles all over your table. And because I'm right-handed, I am going to start on the right side of the table. Now, my rag, I'm going to fold it so it fits my hand. So I'm going to start on the right and move to the left. If you're left-handed, you can start on the left and move to the right. I'm going to follow with my hand, just like we talked about in the video that I showed you how to wipe a table. So I'm going down the mountain now. I'm going to go up the mountain. And as you can see, I'm turning my hand to the right and now to the left, to the right, and to the left. I know sometimes this isn't easy to do, but you just got to turn it, even if it's just a little bit, but make sure that you're not making big, sweeping, wide motions so you skip parts of the table. So you're going to still go up and down, up and down. I could say up and down 100 times and you get tired of hearing me, but I won't do that. So I'm almost done. Now, right now, as you guys can see, here's something to learn. My hair is hanging in my face. I'm not going to touch it because I'm trying to clean a table, but if you were working in a restaurant, most of the time you have to have a hat or a hairnet or something like that on, but I don't have that right now just because this is a demonstration, but I'm also not going to touch my hair because I have a clean table. Okay, so then, just as we talked about in the table wiping video, I'm going to go around the outer edge of the table and make sure I get all those edges from any ketchup that's spilled or somebody's dirty hands or things like that. All right, so my table has been cleaned, but now I'm ready to set my table's damp or a little bit wet. So now I'm going to take a dry rag, a dry clean rag, and I'm going to go over the table with this dry clean rag. I'm just going to go up and down in my mountain motion again, up and down. And I'm going to dry this off so when we set it, so we can actually set it, we don't have to wait around for the table to dry, because I could have a full restaurant, or there could be a second wave of people coming in if we're at a nursing home. There might be somebody who's really hungry and waiting for their table. So I'm just going to go in this up and down motion. We don't need to go around the table to dry off the edges. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my condiments back on so I don't forget. I'm just going to set them over here where they were. All right, now I am going to set the table. What do I need to set the table? I need 2 glasses, cloth napkin, or rolled silverware, depending on where you're working, and then all of my silverware. I have a bread plate as well. Okay. So I am going to use this chair as my center point. So our setting needs to be centered on our chair. So I'm going to set my bread plate here, and I have 2 forks. I have a salad fork and an entree fork, and I'm going to set them down. And then I have a butter knife that I will put across my plate. Now, the edge of the butter knife, the flat edge should be facing out, and then the curved edge facing towards you. I'm going to set down my knife with the flat edge away from the center, curved edge towards you, my small spoon, and then my soup spoon, all lined up, okay? Now I have my 2 glasses, and I'm going to set them right here. And I'm going to make sure that everything is centered before I put in my napkin, which looks pretty good. Need a little bit of adjusting. Sometimes that's kind of hard. Okay, now we have our napkin. If we had just a roll of silverware, we wouldn't have all of this. We might have a placemat, and we would lay that down, but we are going to use our cloth napkin today. So here is my cloth napkin. Just like when we fold towels, we have to make sure the seam side is up. So we're going to fold it into one. I'm going to move this just so you guys can see. I'm going to fold this into one triangle. Then I'm going to fold it over. And I am going to fold it over again. So I have a triangle and even something that looks like an arrow. So we are going to take the pointy side of the triangle, which kind of resembles the profile of a face, and it is going to face our knife. So it points to your knife. And that is how you set the table.